Hello and welcome to the Buckeyes Postgame Show. The Roadman Kenny Rhoda here with you. Whew, man, that was a close one. I mean, you had to be sweating bullets there in the fourth quarter. No, not because the Buckeyes were going to lose to Akron, but if you bet on the Buckeyes and you gave the 50 points, you were sweating like crazy down the stretch thanks to a missed 42-yard field goal and then a dropped touchdown pass. Not only did the Buckeyes beat Akron 59-7, they covered by 2 points. I had the spread at 50. That's why I don't bet, man. I'd have been losing my mind on that game coming down the stretch like that if the Buckeyes would have lost in the last 3 minutes on a 42-yard field goal or that touchdown pass late in the game. But anyways, the Buckeyes do get the win. That's all that matters. They're 3-1. Yeah, they were shaky in the, the first quarter, second drive of the game as Akron went right down the field and scored, took a 7-0 lead. If you were in Vegas, I don't know what odds you could have got that Akron would have led at any point in this game, but if you had those odds, you made some money. But the Buckeyes then rattled off, 59 consecutive points after that, 59-7, the final score. And so we're going to break it down right now. Let's bring in our good buddy, and that is Josh Paloha from Waiting for Next Year. What's up, Josh?
What's happening? Nothing like a Vegas thriller, right?
Hey, I thought it was going to be a backdoor cover. You know what, Josh? It was like a backdoor cover for the Buckeyes with the late touchdown. And then I thought it was going to be a backdoor cover for Akron twice. And, well, that's why they're the Zips. No offense. They're one of the worst football teams in all of Division I. Tom Arth, good luck to you and everything. He's a John Carroll guy. I'm a BW guy. So, anyways, they escaped the cover by 2 points. What did you have the spread at kickoff? I saw it at 50.
It ended at 48.5.
48.5. So, okay. So, 48.5, 55. Okay. All right. So, it was close for everybody, depending on what spread you ended up getting there. But the Buckeyes did to a bad football team what they were supposed to do to a bad football team. After trailing 7-0, like I said, they rattle off 59 points in a row, Josh. And the quarterback was the big topic. Kyle McCord started. Jack Miller was the backup. What did you think of Kyle McCord?
I think it was pretty clear that C.J. Stroud will be the starter when he's healthy. But then again, Kyle McCord, true freshman, he had the first game jitters. You can tell those first 3 passes, they were Yeah, but then after that, he started off over 3. And then to finish off the first half, I tweeted out he ended the first half 11 of 12 with 229 yards and 2 touchdowns. Granted, a lot of those yards were probably after the catch. But hey, right. Ryan Day did what he had to do with the guy that obviously had first game jitters. He threw 2 touchdowns, got him some confidence, and took care of business.
Yeah, I was surprised that Day didn't go to the more confidence-building plays in that first series, right? They handed off to Henderson. He gained 11, 12 yards on that first carry. I'm thinking, all right, run it till you get about midfield. Then maybe you start opening up, as we saw him miss high and wide numerous times early in the game. But they got the little pop pass. They got the little swing pass. It got him going, got his feet better in position to throw the football. And he ends up 13 of 18, 319 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. So not a great day, but not a bad day in your first start as a true freshman at The Ohio State. You throw for 3 bills and 2 scores, even if it is Akron.
I think it's sort of a reality check for Ohio State fans too. Justin Fields is a once-in-a-generation type transfer. You're not going to have him walking through the door. I mean, it's going to be growing pains, no matter how good of a quarterbacks coach Ryan Day and even Corey Dennis are. When you're dealing with true freshmen and redshirt freshmen that barely played last year, and they're thrown into the fire this year, I mean, it's going to be growing pains, but hopefully they continue to develop. And like I think we talked about 2 weeks ago, this season now, yes, they're going for a Big Ten championship, but this season now is just developing toward next year.
Yeah.
And if you have one of those quarterbacks, as long as they continue to get better, and then, I mean, we can talk about Trevian Henderson for hours and hours and hours, but the fact that he's a true freshman and he's doing this it's unreal.
Here's what I'm hoping, Josh. And I know Ryan Day likes to sling it. He's an aggressive play caller. We saw that, in that first series today with Kyle McCord, right? But I'm hoping that he realizes that the identity of this football team, the bell cow, the best player on offense, and I don't want to take anything away from Garrett Wilson or Chris Olave, okay? Because you got to get them the football. But to me, you focus this offense around Trevian Henderson. You play action off of that, and that's when you take your shots. You don't come out and go 3-4 wide, leave Henderson on the sideline, and get C.J. Stroud back and start throwing the ball all over the field against Rutgers. Your best offensive approach, in my opinion, is Trevian Henderson 20 to 25 times a game and play action and pass off of the running game.
Yeah, for Ohio State, dealing with like Dwayne Haskins and even Justin Fields, has always used the pass game to open up the run game. And like you just referenced, I think this year, especially with a young running back, I mean, obviously Trevian Henderson's a true freshman too, as I referenced, but you use the run game to open up the pass game. If you do that, it's going to make things so much easier for whoever's the starting quarterback.
And then what'd you think of Jack Miller? 5 of 8, 66 yards, 0 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. He comes in the third quarter and plays the rest of the way.
Nothing special. I mean, he didn't do anything to hurt his stock, but he's also probably, when Quinn Ewers is caught up to speed after joining the team just a couple months ago, he's probably the fourth quarterback on the depth chart. But I mean, he didn't do anything wrong. It is what it is. Tonight's
game, this is how I took it. They wanted to rest CJ because I've been telling you for 2 weeks, haven't I, that he's had a bad wing, right? A bad shoulder, something's not right. So they rested him. So that was good. He got rest. And number 2, they got McCord game reps, meaningful game reps, in case that shoulder flares up again as they get into Big Ten play next week against Rutgers. So I thought, even though it was Akron and it was a joke of a game and they get $1.5 million for showing up, and that'll pay a lot of bills throughout the sports department with the Zips, fine, that's great. But it was important to get both of those guys in case, let's say, C.J. Stroud goes down and he's lost for an extended period of time. Well, you've got McCord, who's the number 2 now. We know who the backup is, no question about it. And then you've got Miller to act as his backup should he become the number 1. And he's got some game reps and threw the ball a little bit. And they wouldn't be starting a game or playing in a game having never thrown a pass before like C.J. Stroud did in his first game against Minnesota, who, by the way, lost today to Bowling Green. Go Falcons, I Ziggy Zumba. So I thought it was important from that standpoint for those 2 quarterbacks tonight to figure out the pecking order and to get them experience should anything happen with C.J. Stroud.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree with you. Akron or not, Akron might be one of the worst Division I football programs in the country.
Yeah.
But game reps against Akron are 1,000 times more valuable than first-team practice reps. When you have, I mean, let's be honest, Kyle McCord, true freshman, he had all day to know that he was a starting quarterback for the Ohio State Buckeyes tonight. I'm sure, I mean, everyone, no matter if you're a college athlete, professional athlete, you're human. So I'm sure he had those jitters all day. And if just, like we said, the game reps, you just can't replace them. Whether it's Akron, whether it's against Alabama, they're very, very valuable, and they'll only be more valuable down the road.
I just noticed, Josh, because my light's not working that I normally have up here with me, I look like Emperor Palpatine from Star Wars with the lighting that I have on me right now. You remember, if I would have the hood up and everything like that, I'd look like Emperor Palpatine from Star Wars with like the blue light on my face and everything.
Johansson would love that reference if he was tuned in right
now. So the Buckeyes get the win. Trevian Henderson, after rushing for 277, co-offensive player of the week in the Big Ten, freshman of the week in the Big Ten last week. He goes 8 carries, 93. I was pissed that Ryan Day didn't get him 100 yards because I have a feeling there could have been a 100-yard game streak at least for Trevian Henderson. I wanted him to give him 1 or 2 more carries, get him the 100 yards, then get him out of there because I think this guy could end up maybe, and I know that Archie won it twice, Eddie and everything. he could end up being the best running back to ever play at The Ohio State with his shake and bake, his wiggle, his power, his vision, his ability to catch and run the football. So I was a little upset. It's kind of like Mike Ditka not giving Walter Payton the ball on the goal line to score a touchdown in the Super Bowl, and he gave it to the fridge instead, man. Give him 1 or 2 more carries, get him to 100 yards, then get him out and sit him, because I have a feeling in games that matter now, you're going to see mostly Trevian Henderson with a sprinkle here and there of Master Teague and maybe a little Mayan Williams.
Yeah, I guess I never even realized that he was so close until you read the stats. Yeah, I mean, it would have been nice to get him over 100, but then, I don't know. He used to get so many yards in his career. It would be nice to have a 100-game streak.
You know, it's nice to have that streaky and go down in the record book and everything. And that's nitpicking by me. But anyways,
yeah. Wait, hold on. And before we move on, you have to remember that Trevian Henderson didn't play his senior year because of COVID.
Right.
So this is his 4th game in 2 years, and he is averaging 9 yards a carry through 4 games.
Pretty scary, isn't it?
Oh,
scary good, as a matter of fact.
So good.
Yeah, so Trevian Henderson, stud. Garrett Wilson, 4 catches, $124. Chris Olave, 2 catches. So 2 games, 2 catches, 12 yards, but he did get a touchdown today. Got hurt, came back in, though. So did Wilson. He landed on his hip, I think, but he seemed to be okay. Jackson Smith and Jigba, 5 catches, 93 yards, and a touchdown. Okay, so that's the offense. Enough with the offense.
You have to remember a Stark County guy recorded his first reception tonight.
How about this? Jaden Ballard from
there you go.
Massillon. Yes, his first play, he was called for an illegal block in the back, but then he did come back and make a catch on the only ball that was thrown his way. So we saw him twice on the screen tonight. So congratulations to the Massillon Tigers wide receiver, Jaden Ballard, number 10, with his first grab as a member of the Ohio State University. Good point on your part. Thanks for pointing that out. Let's go to the defense, because that's where the concern is with this football team. And I tweeted out they were a joke on that second drive. It looked like Tulsa. It looked like Oregon. It looked like Minnesota all over again. Akron goes right down the field. The touchdown, the guy's wide open, blown coverage, whatever it was. And like I said, if you had Akron leading at any point in this game, God bless you. I hope you made a lot of money on it. They score, make it 7-0. And that was a little concerning. But then the defense seemed to get more. And Josh, was it just me? Or in those first couple of series on defense, the linebackers looked like they were 20 yards away from the line of scrimmage. And then as the game, got further into it, it seemed like they were creeping those linebackers as well as the corners and safeties up a little bit more. It's almost like they were afraid to get beat deep. But, man, teams are going to pick you apart underneath. So I liked at least that they made the adjustments of getting guys closer to the line of scrimmage, which ended up in, 8 sacks and created 2 turnovers today.
Like we said with the offense, it's so hard to judge a team when you're playing a team like Akron. I mean, if they do bad, it's really bad. But if they do good, it's expected. So, what can you really take from that?
Right. That's what Connie just said there.
Yeah. And, I mean, even second-team guys, you have 4 and 5 stars as second-teamers and third-teamers, and Akron has 2 and 3 stars as first-teamers. And I know I tweeted out a GIF or GIF, however you pronounce it. It's DeJuan Jones, who's 6'6". He's the left tackle for Ohio State, or right tackle, whatever side he's on. And he just demolished an Akron guy. And it's just a perfect example of just a bigger guy going against a smaller guy, and they're expected to dominate. So if they don't dominate, anything less than dominate is bad. So, yeah, there's, like we said earlier, there's only so much you can take from this. They did what they had to do. They took care of business. It is what it is. Touchdown,
good. Penalty, bad. Yeah. Too many penalties. Too many, of those young guys getting in there, seeing their first action, and personal foul penalties or making the throat slash. Come on, act like you've been there before, but I guess some of them haven't at the collegiate level, but at least they did at the high school level. You want to see them, look normal and everything like that. But got to get rid of those penalties against Rutgers next week. But again, 8 sacks. Nice to see Haskell come up with 3 sacks today. Williams, number 91, ended up with 2. Jack Sawyer got credit with a sack today too. So
true freshman too. Those are both true freshmen too. But come on.
Yes, both of them, 91 and 33. True freshmen. JT Tuamoloau had a couple of plays, no sacks, so we'll just call him JTT for that. So the auditions are over. Now they must pick their starters and their rotation guys on defense. And I'll be curious to see what that starting lineup looks like next week and who the other guys get sprinkled in on defense next week and through these Big Ten games for the Buckeyes.
Yeah, maybe the auditions are over. I don't know. I feel like they're gonna run Rutgers through the game. But either way,
I watched the game against Michigan today. They looked decent against They should have beat Michigan last year. They didn't. They were at the outhouse today, lost 20-13.
The outhouse.
And what's his name? The old defensive coordinator for the Buckeyes is back.
Greg Schiano.
Yeah, Greg Schiano. So I mean, he's had success before as a head coach, and he'll know the Buckeyes system too. So hey, I warned people the first two games they might lose one of those two, and they did against Oregon. Well, don't sleep on Rutgers or Maryland with a team that's this young and inexperienced, especially at the quarterback position and weaknesses on defense.
Well, and not looking past Rutgers, but Maryland's undefeated and will most likely be ranked after this week too.
There you go.
But yeah, I mean, defensively, it'll be interesting. I think that we'll go with a lot younger group because the seniors still have yet to prove anything that they should start. So you might as well, if it's even close in the depth chart, play the younger guy that's going to be here next year and get them more experience and see what they can do because the seniors obviously haven't yet proven anything. And that's not even talking about what happened on and off the field with that Kavion Pope quitting the team halfway through the game too. But we won't get into that.
Upperclassman, right? No, it's okay.
Yeah,
I mean, he's an upperclassman. Yeah,
so
there's an example of a senior thinking he should have played more, but obviously in the eyes of the coaches, no. And then the one report said he was about to go in, and then a younger player grabbed him, threw him to the sidelines, and went in his place. And so he got ticked, threw his gloves in the stands, tweeted some foul language allegedly on the Twitter. And I look for him to join Dorian Grant in the transfer portal, right?
The linebacker group was already very thin. I mean, they had a long snapper play linebacker during the spring game, and now this past week, assuming Pope joins the transfer portal, that's two linebackers that have quit the team this week. So I mean, I'm not worried about that because they weren't really playing much anyways, but the depth there might be an issue.
Well, Jack Sawyer, you might have to move him to linebacker. I don't know if he can make that switch. He's athletic enough, I think. He's, they talk about him being a finesse guy, so maybe you start giving him some reps in practice at the linebacker position and see what happens there. Let's get some of these comments in here from people that are watching us, Josh, here on the Buckeyes Postgame Show. Our good buddy Craig Easterday checking us out. Good win against the lesser opponent. The running game was very effective, and the Buckeyes did what they were supposed to do. Nice to see the defense putting pressure. Amen to that, Craig. On the quarterback, sacks and turnovers. Hopefully they will be effective against better competition. We'll keep our fingers crossed on that. Maybe this will get them going, but it's Akron. I mean, let's not get too excited about this. 59-7, it's Akron, and Akron led at 1.7-0 in this game. Brad Hajasic is watching us and checking us out as he does each and every week. We appreciate that. He says, hard to say if there was improvement. Akron is not a great barometer, but they made bank. Yes, they did. 1.5 million, Brad. And those kids got to play in the shoe. And yeah, that was big for a lot of those kids without question. So, and Adam Cerny wants to know if Kyle McCord will start next week. No, Adam, he will not start unless CJ Stroud is still hurt. If CJ Stroud is cleared to play, CJ Stroud will be your starter at quarterback. But Kyle McCord, now we know, is the backup. All right, Josh, are you ready for Big Ten play? I know they have one win under their belt already in Big Ten play. And that was the opener against Minnesota. But now it's a stretch of Big Ten games beginning with Rutgers on the road next Saturday. And then they come home to face, as you said, an undefeated Maryland team. And those are the easy games in the Big Ten, supposedly this year. And then they get into the real meat of the schedule.
First things first, before I forget, Ryan Day, I just saw a tweet. He said that he'll meet with CJ Stroud tomorrow to discuss the plan for this week. Okay. So we might find out tomorrow whether CJ Stroud's good to go or not. Right. Secondly, Big Ten. At Rutgers could be tough, but then again, I feel like at every game at Rutgers for Ohio State is basically a home game, but just in New Jersey. So they'll most likely have home field advantage there. I'm not too worried. The defense, I mean, we've talked about the defensive struggles for long periods of time. The offense, I think, is good enough, though. You just outscore them, just like we said a couple weeks ago. As long as you continue to outscore them.
Yeah. I'm not sold on Stroud. I was just going to ask you this question. What do we know, Josh, after 4 games about Ohio State football? What do we clearly 100% know about the Ohio State Buckeyes? We know that Trevian Henderson is the best, arguably the best all-around player on this team, and he's only a true freshman. He's your starting running back. He's got the most potential, in my opinion, okay? We know that Haskell Garrett is their best defensive player at this point, right? So that's 2 things we know. We know that CJ Stroud is the starting quarterback, but how confident are you in CJ? Do you see that light flickering in the back? Look at that. There, it's that.
I'm trying to see what's on your TV. It looks like you're watching some cartoon or something back there.
I don't know what's on. We know that CJ Stroud's the starter, but are we confident in CJ Stroud as the starter? I, for one, am not.
I'm confident in Ryan Day and Corey Dennis's decision, but I'm not sure if I'm confident in the actual quarterback. But then again, we also haven't seen CJ Stroud healthy because late in fall camp, he missed a couple practices and Ryan Day downplayed it and just said, "Oh no, this is normal. We always give our starting quarterbacks a break." Right. But I think that is when the shoulder injury started happening. Because I don't know if it's after interceptions or after overthrows. He seems to slump down a lot on his shoulder. So maybe a week off did a lot to help that. I don't know. I hope.
He's doing this a lot too after a bad throw on the sidelines, trying to loosen it up.
But that might just be for show too. Like, hey, I overthrew that because I don't know. But like I said, I trust Ryan Day and Corey Dennis. They will make do with the best quarterback they have at this current time. And I think that's CJ Stroud. Okay. And hopefully they learned tonight and the first 3 games of the year that, like I said, like 10 minutes ago, with Justin Fields and Dwayne Haskins, you use the pass to open up the run game. I think Trevian Henderson has already proved that it should be the opposite this year. You use the running game and the extension running game like they did with Kyle McCord, where it's like short passes to open up the passing game.
Yeah, and that's what I'm hopeful for. I'm hoping, and it's hard to argue with Ryan Day and his record and what he's accomplished since he took over for Urban Meyer, but he loves to throw the football, man. He loves that deep ball too. He loves that quick strike, and I think as a head coach, you have to put your team in the best position to win, and in my opinion, that's heavy dose of Trevian Henderson, and like they told us, the deepest running back room they've ever had at Ohio State, right? Well, use it. Use that line that's supposed to be one of the tops in all of football on the offensive side. Use that running game to take the pressure off of CJ Stroud, who's not 100%, and throw. Yeah, you still want to take your shots and mix in your passing game. You'd be crazy not to with Garrett Wilson, Jackson Smith and Jigma, and Chris Olave, just to name, the top 3. But to me, the key, and you shorten the game, you feature Trevian Henderson, goal line, maybe you bring in a Master Teague, a dose of Mayan Williams, and then I'm not sold on this team, Josh, and looking at their schedule, I see 1, maybe 2 losses somewhere before the end of the regular season with this Ohio State football team. I'm just not – I don't believe enough in CJ Stroud. Heck, Ukaluki or Ukalelau, or what's the kid's name? DJ from Clemson. They lost their second game. And this guy was, extremely highly touted for Clemson and played some last year. And now they're 2-2. Actually, they're 2-3 in their last 5 games, if you count the ass whooping the Buckeyes gave them last year. So, and that kid's, he's doing Coke commercials or Dr. Pepper commercials.
Before we move on, I think watching Dabo Swinney and Clemson lose makes me happier than watching Michigan lose at this point.
No, really?
No, because Michigan is so irrelevant until they're relevant again.
Okay.
But watching Clemson lose, because Dabo thinks they're just on top of the world, ranking Ohio State number 11 last year before the playoffs.
Right.
And now they're 2-2 this year after losing to Ohio State in the playoff last year. Okay, maybe I like seeing Jim Harbaugh sad. I really do. I hate Michigan. My AIM name way back in the day was Michigan Hater, if that explains me at all.
Oh, okay, very good. But I understand the Dabo hate. I hate Dabo.
I hate Dabo. I really do.
Yeah, I get that. So enjoy that at least through the weekend. The Buckeyes get the win. I need to see against better competition, a more consistent all around team effort. And we haven't seen that yet, in my opinion. So, Rutgers, again, not a great test, but you're on the road and they're a better football team. Maryland, as you pointed out, probably going to be ranked. And then after Maryland, you go to Indiana, who has the potential to throw the football all over this defense. Right? Michael Penix Jr. I mean, they can sling. Then you've got Penn State at home, and then Nebraska. A tough one for Nebraska. They lost in overtime to Michigan State today. So Nebraska and Martinez at quarterback, not going to. Purdue, hey, we saw what happened. Luckily, that one's at home.
We don't talk about Purdue.
Okay,
unless it's a home game.
Michigan State, they won again today. They're going to be in the top 15, top 20 at the worst. And then you close out at Michigan, who won again. They're going to be top 50. So I expect one loss in the Big Ten, at least maybe two, as this young team develops. I hope I'm wrong, and if I am, I'll eat crow with a lot of famous Dave's or Old Carolina barbecue sauce on it.
Man, that barbecue sauce does sound good. But back, I think the CJ Stroud injury and him being out might be better off for Ohio State's offense, if that makes sense. It gave Kyle McCord and a bunch of the young guys more playing time tonight.
Right.
And I think it made Ryan Day realize that Trevian Henderson you have 2 first-round picks out wide probably with Garrett Wilson and Chris Olave probably in 2022 NFL draft next April. But you need to just put the team on Trevian Henderson's back. He's 18 years old, 19 years old, whatever he is. But he's proven already through 4 games that he can just carry this offense and just make the defense look silly.
Yeah, I like I said, if I had to pick one player to have the most success in the NFL on this roster right now for the Ohio State Buckeyes, I have no hesitation in saying that it's Trevian Henderson. No doubt in my mind, and hopefully Ryan Day sees that and builds the offense around that as opposed to building it around CJ Stroud slinging the football, all over the field when he's got a bad wing and has had some struggles reading defenses. Final thoughts, Josh. We're going to get out of here. We actually I told you we were going to do 10 to 15 minutes because it was Akron. We're almost at a half hour. So final thoughts here so I can go crack a cold one and watch Oregon, whoever they're playing in the late game tonight.
59-7. At first, I said, here we go again when Akron scored. I was like, oh, shit.
White Snake. You were singing White Snake. Again. David Coverdale, right? Again. Here we go again. Yeah, that's what it looked like.
Yeah, but they took care of business. It's Akron. You can't take too much from it. Right. But if they looked bad, you could take a lot from it. So it's important that they took care of business. And it's on the Big Ten season. Hopefully CJ Stroud is more healthy than he was last week or the last few weeks.
Right.
And just continue to lean on Trevian Henderson like we discussed. And hopefully the young guys can show out defensively and improve that side of the ball. Because offensively, they proved that they can hang with anyone, especially if CJ Stroud's healthy. Defensively is where the work has to be done.
Still needs to be figured out. No question about it. All right, Josh, tell people out there where they can find you on Twitter as well as on podcasts, social media, all that stuff, where you're at so they know, because I got yelled at for not letting people know that the last time you were on.
Oh, I didn't yell at you, though. I'd like to say that I did not yell at Kenny for
okay,
that, so
yeah. It wasn't Josh. It was somebody else.
Waitingfornextyear.com. I'll actually have a Ohio State recap up here soon once I get off of here. Okay. Twitter and just Twitter, JORSHP, Josh with an R in the middle, P, and that's it.
George P. It's George P. George P on Twitter and Instagram. Waitingfornextyear.com. All right, Josh, thanks. Enjoy the rest of the weekend. We'll see what the Browns accomplish tomorrow against the Bears. What do you think, real quick, before we get out of here, what do you expect from Justin Fields tomorrow against the Browns?
First and most importantly, I'm going to the game tomorrow. First time in
like 5
nice. Years.
Okay.
Second most important thing, I don't think I've ever witnessed a Browns win, so hopefully that karma changes.
Wow.
Thirdly, I hope Justin Fields does well, but I hope the Browns still blow him out. My perfect scenario would be like 49-31. Justin Fields scores all 4 touchdowns, and Baker Mayfield and the boys just dominate.
Well, enjoy the Browns game tomorrow, Josh. We'll talk to you next week after the Rutgers game, all right?
Sounds good. Go Bucks.
Go Bucks. There is Josh Paloha checking in with us here on the Buckeyes postgame show. And that's going to do it for this edition. Buckeyes get the win and cover. So those of you who bet the Buckeyes and were sweating it out late, you can go cash your ticket. You made some money. Buckeyes got some young guys, some experience. Now they get ready for Big Ten play again as they take on Rutgers next week. And we'll do this all over again after the game next Saturday. Again, 3:30 kickoff. They're on the road in New Jersey at Rutgers. So you figure 3:30, 7:30 is somewhere in that vicinity. Make sure you join us here. And tomorrow after the Browns game, we'll probably about an hour and a half after the Browns game is over, we'll do a Browns version of this post-game show and hopefully be talking about another victory for the Browns as well. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Go Bucks. Talk to you soon.